In the late 19th century, a German doctor emigrated to the islands of Samoa, where, after setting up shop in the capital city of Apia, he became noted as a talented physician and an even more talented mixologist. One of the things he was most known for was a tonic he developed to cure the ailments of the day. Over time, that tonic simply took on the name of its creator, and we know it today as the Dr. Funk. Hey y'all, welcome back to the Florida Rum Explorer. I'm Brian, and today I'm going to talk to you about a cocktail that has its origins in the South Pacific in the late 19th century. Now, this one actually has a really cool backstory. So picture yourself, island of Samoa, late 19th century. A German doctor by the name of Dr. Bernhard Funk emigrates to the capital city of Apia, and he sets up shop. Becomes noted for him being a physician. But he also, likes to come up with tonics. That's what they used to call cocktails at the time, tonics. And one in particular got to be known for curing what they called the cafard, the island cafard. And I never heard of that word before, so I had to look it up. And it basically is an old term that was used to refer to people who were suffering from severe apathy or depression. And particularly it was used in the tropics. So this cocktail, over time, got to be known by its creator's name, so it just came to be known as the Dr. Funk. It was a very, very heavy absinthe-forward drink. That was the primary alcoholic beverage part of it that was mixed with a lot of different tropical juices. But over time, particularly in like the 1950s, it kind of got rediscovered, reinvented. Don Beach, Vic Bergenon, the greats of the Tiki revolution in the early part of the 20th century kind of rediscovered it and made their own variations of it. Another thing I want to say about it is that a lot of the recipes that if you find them online will call for using Pernod or Pernod pastis, which is kind of like absinthe. And the reason for this is because, remember, absinthe was illegal in most European countries and the United States pretty much all throughout the 20th century. They didn't have the original absinthe that Dr. Funk used back in the 19th century. So they used the next best thing, which was the Pernod pastis. But I'm going to use the recipes that call for absinthe because that's what the original used. And the recipe I'm going to make today is actually from Smuggler's Cove, which is an adaptation of the recipe developed by Trader Vic's. So let's jump right into it. So we're going to take our cocktail shaker. And I am going to measure out 1/2 ounce of lemon juice. One-half ounce of lemon juice. Then we are going to do 1/4 ounce of grenadine. And goes the grenadine. And then that's going to take us over to 1/2 ounce of lime juice. So lemon and lime in this. And 1/2 ounce of lime juice. And that goes in. Now we're going to add in a 1/2 ounce of simple syrup. And it looks like I need to make some more simple syrup because I am almost out. And what was that? Oh yeah, 1/2 ounce. Then we're going to move over to the kicker, which is the absinthe. Remember, this drink is called Dr. Funk, so you want this to have a bit of funky flavor to it, and absinthe is definitely going to bring it. Whew, you get that anise, that black licorice aroma almost immediately. I'm going to do 1/4 ounce, well, that's what the recipe calls for, 1/4 ounce of absinthe. That's actually a lot. If you've seen some of the other recipes we've done on this channel, usually it calls for a scant 1/8 teaspoon because absinthe is potent stuff. Okay, sticking with the funkiness here, you want to have a funky rum to use for this. Again, name is Dr. Funk. There is nothing funkier than a good Jamaican dark pot-stilled rum. Most recipes, when they're calling for something with like a really full body and funkiness, they want Jamaican pot-stilled rum. So we're going with 2 and 1/4 ounces of, I'm using Myers, Jamaican pot stilled rum. So again, this is a potent cocktail. There you go, 2 1/4. And then, finally, we are going to add 1 ounce of seltzer water. Here the fizz. That goes in there. Cap off the shaker and give it a shake. And I'm making a mess everywhere. Okay, shaken enough. Now take your glass. It calls for a double old-fashioned glass filled with ice. Pour it in there. I made a huge mess today. Okay. Now you can garnish it with, like a pineapple leaf. I don't have anything to garnish it with, and quite frankly, garnish usually just gets in the way. So you can see the color of it. It's got that sort of reddish color from the grenadine mixed in with the different juices. You can definitely smell the anise, the licorice of the absinthe. And you know what? Again, I've said before, I'm not really a huge absinthe fan, but it works in this one. It really does. I mean, it's got, even though we put 1/4 ounce, which is a lot, it's kind of a subtle flavor in there, and I think it's because of that funky Jamaican rum in there, which is kind of, balancing it out. So in some of the cocktails we've done before, I personally thought the absinthe was overpowering. But this one, it actually goes very, very well. And if you like that anise flavor, if you like the licorice flavor, if you like things like a Sazerac, I think you'll really enjoy this one. One thing I forgot to mention earlier about the late Dr. Bernhard Funk, he actually was friends and the personal physician of Scottish novelist Robert Louis Stevenson. So if you remember who he is, he's the guy who wrote Treasure Island and the Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. And he was there, when the author passed away. He was the author's doctor throughout his life in the South Pacific. So I can imagine that it would be a good way to spend your day, cracking open a copy of Treasure Island, sitting by the pool, and drinking a Dr. Funk. So give it a try, and I think you'll enjoy it. So until next time, everyone, take care.